What's good, neighborhood? It's your favorite neighbor, your man Marq Nash, and we back here with another episode of Breaking Beats, where we break down business, entertainment, art, technology, sports, and anything else you and I feel like talking about. It's a hip hop political sports show with a comedy twist. We like to let the jokes fly. You know why? Because life is serious enough. It appears Dan LeBatard is clapping at Stephen A. Smith and Skip Bayless again. If you don't remember, back in March, Stephen A. Smith was on the Dan LeBatard show where he was confronted for his style of journalism and saying, hey, basically, you do a certain type of journalism and people try to imitate you and think that's the way to go. And it's kind of made sports commentary and journalism trash, basically, for lack of better words. I'm going to play that audio. Stephen A. Smith was on the show that day and they had a back and forth. But it appears Dan LeBatard has clapped back at Stephen A. Smith again back on July 17th. Stephen A. Smith missed that. He took the chance to respond yesterday, and it was pretty pointy. But let's give you guys a little backstory. How did we get? Let's play the March 24th clip first. This is what he said to Stephen A. Smith to his face, and what Stephen A. Smith responded with.
I hate what you two have done to sports television.
You can say that all you want to. I would say, who the hell are you to sit up there and say me and him? What about you? What the hell were you living under a rock, teaching at Miami? You were a part of it too. You ain't innocent.
I'm talking about all the imitators that you have birthed. All of the imitators that are all over the place, thinking without the journalism credentials that the point of all this is to turn it into an argument on television.
Yeah.
And Stephen A. Smith responded with like, hey, is it my fault that people see what I do and try to copy me? Like, is it your fault that people see what you do and try to copy you? Like, that doesn't make sense to me. But more recently, though, Dan LeBatard has responded again to Stephen A. Smith and basically talking about Skip Bayless and the style of journalism that they do on shows like Undisputed and First Take, where basically you put a black guy in front of a white guy and you put dog whistles out and let them argue. Let's play the clip.
I would like to talk to him in the future in a way that is conversational instead of performative about how dumb sports debate television has made everything. See, this is the thing. Stephen A. respects Skip Bayless, who's a plague, because Skip Bayless gave Stephen A. the chance that he gave Shannon Sharpe to do the thing of let's do white man, black man, and we'll do the dog whistle, and sports will get dumber, and I will spend 20 years chasing LeBron, who's only the athlete of our times, who deserves all sorts of praise. I'm going to situate myself as the hater and just get somebody loud and black across from me, and we will fight.
That is incredibly, incredibly insulting.
Okay. Now, Stephen A. said he was insulted by this, and he's not going to hesitate to tell us why he feels the way he feels in regards to Dan LeBatard and people who don't like their style of journalism and what they do on Undisputed. Let's play Stephen A. Smith's response to Dan LeBatard.
More so to Skip Bayless. A plague. Because he wants to hate on LeBron and people debate him. And it's usually somebody black sitting across from him. Well, white people have debated Skip Bayless. They didn't rate. We are in the television business. Ratings and revenue do matter. They do count. So let's get that out of the way. Secondly, I'm not going to apologize for being somebody who appreciates the opportunity that Skip Bayless gave me because he was a white man in that position, and that was something that he didn't have to do, but he elected to have me as a debate partner. I appreciate that. And although my career has taken off, and I've been blessed and fortunate enough, knock on wood, to be number one ever since, because it can end tomorrow, I'm sorry if I'm a person that's not going to forget the opportunity that somebody gave to me when they didn't have to. That doesn't mean that I agree with everything he says. It doesn't mean I co-sign everything he says. I'm very good friends with Troy Aikman. I love this brother. I don't approve nor appreciate nor like the things that Skip Bayless has said about him in the past. I don't like most of the things that Skip Bayless said about LeBron James in the past. But that's his opinion. And everybody has one, just like Dan LeBatard has one. Just like all of these bloggers have one. It's Awful Announcing. It's Front Office Sports. It's the Bleacher Report. I mean, the Clutch Points. And I mean, the list goes on and on and on. Deadspin, you know, it's been around forever. You know, I mean, the Big Lead. The list goes on and on and on. There are a lot of things to like and not like about institutions, about networks, about whatever distributors of content, about individuals. That's absolutely positively true. But it ain't the be all and end all. And the reason I bring this subject up is because over the last couple of days, all we've been reading about is how there's going to be some shift. Because, oh my God, what has happened to the world of sports journalism? Like First Take doesn't do anything. Or these other shows don't do anything. Michael Wilbon and Tony Kornheiser have been debating for years. They've gotten loud with one another. But we know what great journalists they were, what great columnists they were, and what great friends they've been for over 40 years. So they may not get labeled that way. People have insulted around the horn. That's still on the air. When Highly Questionable was on the air with Dan LeBatard and his daddy. Some people liked it, some people didn't. Outside the Lines was hosted by Bob Lee for years. The great Bob Lee, the iconic Bob Lee, the award-winning journalist that was Bob Lee. Some people liked it, some people didn't. How many stars have we seen emanate from the world of Sports Center? They all acted like Stuart Scott? No. Were they all Dan Patrick? No. Were they all Keith Olbermann? No. Were they all Scott Van Pelt? No. It was different. Some people liked Dick Vitale. Some people couldn't stand him. Some people used to hate what Boomer, Chris Berman, used to do. Back. All of this other stuff. Some people liked it. Some people didn't think there was any place for it. Don't get me started with sports reporters. Was Mike Lupica, Bob Ryan, and Mitch Albom whispering on sports reporters? What about when Bill Rhoden and Brian Burwell, God rest his soul, used to come on there? Were they whispering? Were they whispering in your ear, Dan? Were they whispering in your ear, all of you folks out there? Well, this is how we feel about it, and I mean, hey. Were they going like Shaq? You know, just told Kobe I told Phil. Like Ari Spears, the comedian, said, Phil know how I play. Kobe know how I play. Give him the ball. I'm a dunk it. I'm big brother. He little brother. That's what they were doing. When Charles Barkley's on there, they suck. But Kobe Bryant, Shaquille O'Neal, really? It's television. Comes in all forms, shapes, and sizes. You do what you do and you find an audience that gravitates to it. First Take, dumb television. We start the conversation every morning. We've talked about crime. We've talked about racism. We've talked about all types of issues pertinent to the world of sports and beyond. We were dumb when we talked about domestic violence. We were dumb when we talked about crime. We were dumb when we talked about collective bargaining negotiations, the paucity of African Americans in head coaching or executive positions, or running backs just recently being ostracized the way that they are by the National Football League because you look at their birth certificate and regardless of their years of productivity and efficiency, just because their birth certificate says they're this certain age, they can't do X, Y, and Z. Colin Kaepernick, the national anthem, patriotism in the United States of America, or lack thereof, rights as American citizens constitutionally and beyond. We were dumb. Dumb television. Mad Dog Russo, a Hall of Fame radio host for 4 decades, dumb. Ryan Clark, a Super Bowl champion. Marcus Wagyu Spears, Dan Orlovsky, Michael Irvin, Keyshawn Johnson. When he was there, because Michael Irvin and Keyshawn Johnson reportedly are going over to FS1. My brothers, nothing but love and the best for them. Dumb, really? That's what they were. Ladies and gentlemen, don't fall for it. Don't fall for it. See, folks want to complain about what they're not. And maybe some other network and some other shows are going to capitulate to all of this noise. Let me assure y'all right here, right now, First Take, we're going to do what we do. I am the host, the co-host of the show. Molly is obviously the matriarch of the show and the host. But I am the co-host of the show. Damn it, don't mean to brag, I'm the star of the show. I'm also the executive producer of the show. And I'm telling y'all right now, we're going to do what we do.
There you have it. All right. So what do you guys think of what Dan LeBatard said? And what do you guys think of Stephen A. Smith's soliloquy and his interpretation of his show. He said, hey, man, we don't have a dumb show. We have a smart show. We talk about a lot of issues. Basically, in not so many words, I took that as Dan LeBatard, according to Stephen A. Smith, is complaining because his show is not as successful. And he's not as successful as being a sports reporter as Stephen A. Smith. He's saying what we're doing is working, it's successful. What you did wasn't. But Dan LeBatard does make some points, but I think it's a little misguided with certain points. Far as, yeah, the show is not stupid and they do talk about a lot of issues, but yes, I definitely believe the show can be triggering sometimes to people when they talk about black and white issues, because it's a white guy and a black guy, but it's by design. It's not by accident that he goes from Stephen A. Smith to Shannon Sharpe. And even now, he has a supporting cast of other black guys. He's surrounded by black guys. What's wrong with that? A lot of the sports he covering are sports that are predominantly black sports, basketball, football. Those are the main two sports they cover, right? I don't know. I ain't got all the answers. Y'all leave me a comment. Let me know what y'all think of the story. Y'all agree with Dan LeBatard? Think Skip Bayless and Stephen A. Smith and this debate type shows have made sports worse? Or do you agree with Stephen A. Smith? Like, hey, what we doing is working. People like it. People tune into it. It's a reason why people are trying to copy this type of format over and over again, whether on YouTube, whether other networks, on blogs and things like that. It's a popular format. All right, it's your man Marq Nash breaking beats. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.
This that squad sound.